Okay, I am back. Please excuse me. I had to attend to some business. There was some stuff that, yeah, but I loved it. I love my business. Anyway, I have to get this done. Uh, this is how I know that it's supposed to be done when there's so many interruptions. Okay, I was explaining the state of mind that I was at when I was with my ex-husband. I'm gonna try and I don't know. This thing is reflecting. I don't know why. Our neighbor has this. Is it steel? Zinc. These zinc sheets. So they're just reflecting. Please just bear with me. Anyway, um, I loved him from the version of me that I was back then. I loved him. How many of you can identify with toxicity and loving toxicity? You are toxic, you're all are toxic, and because of that, nobody really knows the definition of love, and you guys are just partnering up for dear life. There is a codependency, there is everything that is not love, but that is gluing you guys back together. Like you guys are just stuck with each other for the sake of being stuck. That is what my part, I believe. That's how I was. I was on a mission to achieve because of an insecure plan that I had made for myself because of the insecurities, the identity that I had given to myself. So, my karmic marriage did everything it was supposed to do. Everything that could have broken me happened in that marriage. Looking back, the state that I was in that marriage was a living hell. And I say a living hell according to my standards. A living hell according to your standards might just be different. But for me, that was a living hell. It's as if life had found for me a person that would do the best job of breaking me. And he did his job. I'm not sitting here bashing my ex-husband. No. I'm here telling my story. I'm not sitting here bashing or promoting people to bash their exes. No. That is not the intention at all. Instead, you will see as we go along that you need to take ownership. You need to do introspective recon of your mindset, your being, what had happened. Like, tell the truth, good people. This is a story about you, your life. Who are you lying to? The truth is, for me, it was a living hell. The truth is, for me, I felt trapped. Whew, I felt trapped. I felt trapped and I put myself there. Nobody did. My parents, none of them. Nobody ever said, oh, now you're pregnant. Okay, now get married. He has to marry you. None of them said that. I put myself there. And even prior to that, There were red flags. I chose to ignore them. Even prior to that, there were people that literally came and said, we don't think. But they said it in their own way, and I caught on to what they were saying, but I didn't listen. I didn't choose me. I was not brave. I was so married to this dream, this insecure plan, this identity. I wanted to regain my name through this false, insecure identity. I was going to win at something in my life. And that was this man, this marriage, our family. So, long story short, it didn't work out. A lot of things happened. We drew out the worst of each other. Um, I did not know how dark I could get until, and not get as in I acted out, but get as in even thinking. Like my brain, I did not understand how dark it could get in there. Not everything that I thought of did I do, but just to even comprehend that you have that capacity, for me, that was scary. That was scary. It was scary that inside of me there was a place that could put a person, and this place was a place of hatred. I hated, I hated the father of my child. I hated him with a passion. Every time I saw him, all I could do was hate the fact that this was my life. I hated it. And the more I hated myself, the more I hated him. The more I hated him, the more I hated myself. And it just kept going on and on and on and on. Until eventually life will do what? It will give you what you are. Life will always give you what you are. Life does not give you what you want, life will give you what you are. So if you're in a state of hatred, that is all you're going to be getting. So every other day, there would be evidence that this is how much you hate yourself, this is how much he hates you, this is how much you hate him. So here's the evidence. Here is a dysfunction. Here is this, here is that. Everything that is bad, in my opinion, for me, was it happened. It happened. And that is exhausting. That is draining. How many of you have ever been in a position where you didn't want to go home? I didn't want to go home. He had said to me a couple of stuff, and I remember thinking, oh my God, he's catching on. After, we didn't even do a wedding. The only girl of my father and my mother. No wedding. Didn't do a wedding. It was not an affordability thing. It was more of a priority thing. Didn't do a wedding. And again, it speaks to the red flags. This speaks to the red flags. We didn't do a wedding. And I was okay with it. We do something called lobola negotiations here in Bloemfontein, in South Africa, actually. In most of African countries, there's some sort of, their family comes and meets my family, and, exchanging of, we've invested in them. It's a bit more beautiful than that, but okay. And I remember receiving a phone call from the sister. Actually, no. I didn't receive the phone call. We spoke about it afterwards. But the phone call happened during the lobola negotiation, where the older brother, wanted to find out if I knew there was some sensitive information that he could not walk in here without knowing that I know. And the sister was like, no, she does know. So again, there might seem in hindsight, they were the stop, yell, don't do this. You have so many people that are literally trying to help you in deciding. I remember that day not being joyful for me. My mother came in, I think the weekend before we had to go to church to go and sign our legal certificate that we are married. Um, my mother, and trust me, guys, this was not at all how I wanted to be married. This was not how at all I envisioned my wedding. This, and again, this is not to bash him. This is to highlight my story, highlight my part in it, and what actually transpired. I'm trying to give context. This was not at all what I wanted. My mother knows. She was shocked at how not excited I was. I was not there. She's like, no, you have to go and get something. At least I was like, my father, the day of the signing, is outside and he's putting balloons on the car. And I'm like, these people. My mother's like, so what's gonna happen after we sign? Are we gonna come and eat? Should we get something? They were more excited than me, the bride, getting married for the first time. We get to the church. My cousin comes into the car and she's like, oh my gosh, you look pretty. I'm like, thank you. She's like, Tito. She calls me Tito. Who's Tato? Why don't you look happy? And for the first time, somebody saw and even asked. And at that time, I remember having the proper words, and I told her that I honor my parents more than I love myself. And then it was time to walk in. And as we walked in, my father was with me. Everybody else was inside the church. It was just family. As I was walking, my father wanted to do the whole walk down the aisle. And I'm like, why? I'm not even wearing white. I'm not wearing white. I'm far from it. And I guess this was his attempt at least saying in his life he walked his daughter down something, you know? And as I was walking, I remember feeling and hearing there was a presence that just said, no, don't do this. And I remember in my mind or in my spirit, I felt like I had stopped, but my feet were moving. They were moving forward. And it's as if I just walked past this. Again, no, Tato, stop, turn around. By that time, I'm already in front. And no, the train has left the building, people. It is, I don't know what the pastor said. I was not there. I really was not present. And I say this because I shared this because it is funny to me now looking back. Sad funny. How much time I wasted. How much effort I wasted. He was a victim of my story. He had his own story that he was going through, but I didn't have to be a part of that. we didn't have to collide. And that's the part that saddens me, is the fact that I know that in my life I affected a person like that. I could have chosen not to be a part of that. He could have been better for it. I could have been better for it. We could have wasted no time of each other, you know? But hey, I've made peace with it. That's also part of the process. That's also part of the process of what I would love to share with you guys, and how to help those ones that are there to get here. Um, it was heavy. It was a heavy season. It was a heavy season. How did we get to the final breakup? We broke up long in the marriage. We long broke up long in the marriage. You know it's over before it's even over, you know. Um, I have said it so many times until he said it, then we are saying it to each other. Um, the respect is not there, the love is not there, the compassion, the anything that would just hold up even a fraction of a thread of a relationship, it wasn't there. Well, for me, it wasn't there. And then what had happened is my career, the one that I did not want, I was stuck there too, because everything ripples, everything just, you know, permeates. It will overflow into another section of your life. Apart from the fact that I hated my career, I also hated, my only solace was home. I would knock off early to come home, just to breathe before going to his house. That's how I saw it. It was his place. It was not my house. It was not my home. And I know some of you guys are like, Tato, but you went in here already with some attitude. No, 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 no. When I went in there, I went there being his wife. I went there being a mom. I went there with the intention of building. Like I said, my ambition was to achieve a win. And this win was going to happen in my personal life. So I did the most. I did the most. From the broken state that I was in, I did the most. There is nothing more sad than to be lost and think that you have been found. In the desert, you make a house and you build it. There's nothing more sad than that. You are lost. You're busy finding you're busy in this life. You're busy finding yourself, and you say, no, no, it's right here. On thirsty, dry. There's not a vegetation inside, and you're like, no, it's right here. That's what I did. And I made it work. I made it work. Had I not made it work, I would have left the first year. But I stayed, I think it was about 5 years, if I remember. So the time that everything is now hitting the fan, and the time that everything that was swept under the rug is now just having these bumps, and we can no longer walk pretending as if things are okay, and we cannot no longer live in silence, because that's another thing, is that silent treatment, that was not my thing, but I became a professor in it, you know. You learn, like life will be teaching you things. It is not a healthy habit, though. It is not a healthy habit. So so I that's one of the, he taught me silent treatment. Okay. at my job, I had told myself, the part that I was working at, I had moved up, but the part that I was working at, my boss used to say, "Oh my God, you're good. There's a new post that is coming, so we want to put you there," and all of that. The post came, the post left, I was not given. And then I was told to train the person. I was like, no, like my life is already wrecked. I'm sitting here holding out and hoping that at least if this part of my life can be okay, maybe I'll be able to stomach this one. And here you come and you tell me I must train the other one. Yet behind the doors, behind these secret meetings, you carry on telling me that I'm doing a good job. That does not make sense. So I left. I resigned. And here's the funny thing. My resignation letter, I had typed it up, I think about a month before. I just had that feeling, the same feeling that was telling me to stop getting married. That one spoke to me again. It presented itself again. I only came later to find out that that's the Holy Spirit. That's him. And I had typed out the resignation letter, but I only handed it in when the new appointment was made, and it was not me. So I left, and I didn't tell. I didn't say anything to him. I told my mother. I had told my mother. He knew that I was unhappy. He knew that I didn't want to be there. And then eventually I did tell him that I resigned. I'm resigning. The process is happening. But when the cash payment came out, I did not tell him that year. Because in my mind, like I said, I did not understand how dark I could get. In my mind, this was it. There was a part of me that wanted to hurt this man so deep for everything that he had done in hurting me. So I was going to leave without him even knowing. In my mind, I was going to get a transfer to a different province. And by the time he comes home, he would have found me gone. That's how deep the pain was. That's how deep and vengeful and dark my heart had become. It was hard towards him. So when this money came, the pension, the payout came, I did not tell him. And I remember my mother telling me, "No, you have to tell him. You have to tell him." And I was like, "No." So a month became 2, became 3, and he kept asking, "When is it coming?" And I kept, "No, wait there." Lies. The money long came and I reinvested it in other stuff. Then one day, how many of you guys know that when the truth comes out, it doesn't send an invite, it doesn't say we are coming. It doesn't say today's the day. There's no notification when the truth comes out. When the truth comes out, it just comes. It just comes. That is why you have to try your best to already live in the light. Live in an open, a transparent life. Don't be like, why are we hiding? Why are we keeping this a secret? You think it's gonna be a secret long? No. Things come out. Even if it's not now, even if it's 10 years later, things come out. The truth cannot be kept secret. The truth is too big for your little small and a secret, and you're trying to fasten this huge thing with a little rope. No, it's gonna snap open and yeah. So it came out. He confronted me about it. Because I was in shock. I was denying. I was denying. No. And he's like, "Okay, let's go to the bank." We go to the bank. We have the children at the back. And long story short, there was nothing. He wanted proof of payment. He wanted this. He wanted that. And the whole time, all I am thinking of is, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? And I knew that this was it. I knew that this was the event that would finally justify to everybody, no, we are done. And lo and behold, uh, the event or the actual situation escalated. It escalated hard. And I remember escaping that situation and with my children. And I remember as I was driving home to my parents' house, I remember telling myself, never again will I be on this road, driving that direction, going to his house and saying, like, I'm home, I'm back. Never, 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 like, this is it, it's done. And truth be told, I was not sorry for having kept the money from him. That's the truth. Like I said, our relationship was over before it was over. So I was not sorry. What I was irritated by is that because of my lies, my mother had said, tell him. Because of my lying and keeping it a secret and not being brave enough and telling him, you know what, I'm done. I need to go. I need to leave. Can we just get our lawyers to talk to each other? Instead of doing that, I just kept dragging on and stretching out this chappies, this bubble gum just got thinner and thinner until eventually my children were affected. And yeah, that's the part that I really am remorseful about. And what I appreciate about time, what I appreciate about God, what I appreciate about healing is that with children, small children, certain things are blocked. When I talk to my son now, and there are times when I try to mention it just to see if he can say, oh yeah, I remember, Mama, and then doesn't, How many of you guys remember what was happening when you were 3, 4? Nothing. 5? My daughter is even worse. She's like, when she overhears me conversing with someone about this, Mama, was I there? And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about somebody else. But just the realization that they don't remember is what, whew, yeah, this is a Hail Mary. This is a saving grace. And I am grateful for that. So I got home that first night. As I slept in my bed, I felt relief. As much as it was turmoil for everybody else in the house, for me, I felt relief. I had a good night's sleep in a long time, the first one in a long time. And that was in 2016. 2019, we get officially divorced. During that entire time, that was the time that God took me through my healing process. That was the time that I intentionally sought out healing. That was the time that I began to get coaching and get training. And not just training, but get trained by the most reputable training facilitators in psychology and self-mastery and spirituality. Those, I got deeper in God, I got deeper in the Word. When I speak about spirituality, I'm talking about not necessarily just the Christian faith, but I'm a believer of Christ Jesus. So I have an understanding of every other, most of the other religions and how they work. But me personally, me and my house, we serve Christ Jesus. So this is to say, you can be a part of this channel, because the tools and the teachings that we are going to be doing here are for the human race. Wherever you are coming from, whoever you are, whatever ethnicity, whatever your belief, as long as you're a believer of growth and self-improvement, as long as you're a believer of self-mastery, and understand that there is a higher power at play, as long as you're a believer of that, then yes, you're welcome to my channel. You're welcome to my channel. I will try by all means to give you the most impactful content possible. I will grow with you as I grow, as you grow. It will be lovely to hear from you. I think in my about section, the email address is there. So it will be wonderful to hear your story. It will be wonderful to hear as we begin to unpack the different types of healing tools, the different types of techniques that a person can use. As we begin to engage and do all of that, it will be wonderful to hear from you guys what your enlightened moments are, where you began to flow back to yourself, you know? So I felt relief. I am home. Again, there is a lot. He was this relationship, this shaking was the last shaking, if I may call it that. It was the last shaking for that aspect of my life. Then there's a shaking of my career. And then there's a shaking of this and a shake. Everything that can make up a person, you get shook in. And the reason for the shaking is so that you relieve yourself of all these self-imposed notions and get to your core. It is from the core that you actually overflow. It is from the core that you actually flow and overflow. And this is from the core that you're supposed to, it is that energy of that core that you are going to now be in a space of allowing the things that are supposed to flow into you. I am now the happiest I've been. I believe there's still more, but this is the happiest I've been. I am joy filled. I am at peace. I am living a very, 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 very fulfilled life. I am running a successful business that came from that core. I am doing this and trying to teach, and I'm able to now you guys don't understand. I would never have done this. And this version, you see can you guys see the cheekbone? It was not like this. I was huge. In about 2 months, I lost close to 10 kgs, 10 kilograms. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to unpack all the different layers that a person may feel with a similar story to mine. Guys, I have seen miracles. I have watched my life become more prosperous, not in an area, in all areas. I have found profound healing, and for the first time, when my ex-husband comes and picks up my daughter, I remember I knew that I had healed when I saw him, and all I felt for him was sheer love. This is the first time that I can honestly say I love my ex-husband. and not romantic love, but love, love, pure love. I wish him all the best. I want nothing but good things for him. I pray that everything that he wants out of life he receives. I pray he lives a long and prosperous and successful life. I never prayed for him when we were together. I need you to understand what a switch flow brings. This is flow. This is me flowing. So much so that I have overflow that I can give to him and other people as well. And I want this for you too. So I smile a lot, I laugh a lot, but not around him because I don't want him thinking, yeah, that ship has flown away. So I laugh a lot. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited to share this journey with you, to, I don't know, to just create content that will be impactful, even if it's to one person. I'm excited about this. I'm excited to teach. I'm excited to show and guide to the best of my ability. I'm excited to have a community of like-minded people. You know, the saddest thing or the most isolating thing is to do things by yourself. Like I said, my mother never said certain things and I thought certain things and we didn't wanna and we thought of and then the kind of, when you're in a toxic situation and you're not talking to your partner and then there's that silence literally is flatlining. It's death. So we have to create spaces like this where we can talk and share and yes, exchange what we have. We need to grow, good people. We need to grow. You've got something in you that needs to be seen, that needs to be heard. Oh my God, you've got a story to tell, and I really want to be a part of your journey, no matter how long it is. I want to be a part of your journey so that you get to uncover who you are. You get to uncover what you're about, and you begin to live this life. This life is beautiful. This life is wonderful. This life is it's overflowing. This life. And I'm a strong believer of living life, not just existing. Existing. Existing is death. You will exist in the grave. Not now. Right now, live your life. So I have nothing much more to say. I hope I gave you context. I hope I gave you background. Um, as we unpack, we will now begin to understand how I moved out of that dark night of my soul into this beautiful and marvelous light of life, ever flowing, ever abundant. And yeah, I will be posting once a week. I will be teaching a concept, like I'll be sharing a concept. At least, like, my schedule, I've really tried to, at the bare minimum, it will be also once a week. Just once a week. Yeah, once a week posting, once a week teaching. Yeah, hopefully. Yes. So have a good life, people. Listen to this. Listen to my story. Share it. Subscribe to the channel. Let's grow and let us include other people on our journey. Excuse me, so that we may learn from each other. Yeah, let's build a community. But it all starts with you. It starts with you. It started with me. Now I'm sharing. So let it start with you so that you can share. This is called The Flow. And welcome to my channel.